Oksana, what would I attribute my rapid success versus other members who have the same positive mindset as me and are taking action, but it's taking longer for them? Um, it's a good question, and it's a tricky one to answer because my only perspective is my own experience. Like, I don't know on the surface of, like, I could look at someone and think, yeah, that like their mindset's in the right place, but realistically, are they taking the same actions? And I'm going to use Gav as an example, and Gav, I know won't mind me talking about this because he talks about it himself anyway, and it's a large part of his journey. And he's actually doing a webinar, which if anyone's struggling with mindset stuff or exactly the kind of thing, Roxana, that you've asked about, you know, making progress and getting traction and starting to get those results, Gavin's journey has been probably one of the best examples that I could look at from someone who's gone from real, like, having to master some, you know, some big mindset things to get to where he is now, to spending bigger budgets, making bigger decisions, getting results. He's made his first few elite sales. Like, he's suddenly starting to get it, and he's like hit the ground running, and his knowledge hasn't changed, right? What he knows, he's known a lot of it for ages anyway. I mean, he's been in SFM and DEA since before me, right? But it's only recently that, despite all this knowledge, he's just started making those big decisions. So if someone would said to me, "I'll Gav you back. I'll see you there, buddy." Hello, mate. So if someone had said to me, like, "Is Gav of a positive mindset?" I'd have been like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's things maybe that he's not facing his fears or not taking action necessarily on all the things that he should at the time, right, back in those days. But your mindset was positive. You were working on all the right stuff. You're doing the 5 things that leaders do. It's just those little subtle differences and those bigger decisions. How would you explain this, Gav? Your transition through to where you are now?
Self-belief, I think. I generally put a lot down to self-belief, and there's always that one tiny thing that you conquer or overcome, and it's like a domino effect. And that literally happened. As soon as I conquered one little thing, it's like they all just started falling, and it just kept falling and falling and falling. And I definitely say, which is why I think mindset is so essential, and working on yourself and personal development. And, you know, that's number 3 on the 5 things leads to investing in yourself. I think it's vital. So every single day, listen to an audio book or read a book, or, you know, read something, watch something.
Yeah,
100%.
Definitely. And let's kind of let me throw a little bit of a different angle on this than we've talked about before, because I mean, mindset, we all talk about mindset, and like, mindset is important, but it's very broad. You know, you say mindset, work on your mindset. It's like, well, what does that actually mean? Like, what, you know, listen to audiobooks or develop yourself or mastermind with other leaders. Great. Yeah, do all that stuff. But like, what does it mean when we talk about mindset? I have the what would I do if I was 10 times bolder thing. That for me has been a massive part of my journey. And I think that has been one of the defining factors, Roxana, to answer your question. One of the defining factors is, what's the difference between me and other people who have the mindset but aren't getting the results? Well, I very quickly decided, like, if I decide that there's something that I could do which is going to help me move forwards or get that result, I would do it regardless of what the fuck I feel, right? Like, I got the opportunity to speak on stage at London in Memento Day. Actually, I'll rephrase. I didn't get the opportunity. I created the opportunity. I was sitting in the back of a taxi with Justin Wolf and Jay Kubasek. This is in February at the Black Retreat. And we were going to a meal. And Justin was talking about how in his early days, he used to often speak on stage, and that gave him a load of traction and so on and so forth. I was going to meet you, buddy, because you're the loudest typer in the world. Load of traction in his, don't shake your head. He said speaking on stage gave him a load of traction in his business, in his own development, you know, when he started out. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, well, if that gave him a load of traction in my business, then I want that. So I turned around to Jay Kubasek and I said, Jay, what would it take for me to speak on stage in April in London Momentum Day? And he said, well, what, you want to speak on stage, would you? And I was like, yeah. And he said, well, we've never had anyone, you know, as early on in the journey as you have. We normally only have people that have achieved results and so on and so forth. And I said, well, it will probably be quite interesting, because I feel like, you know, having the perspective of somebody that's really new on the journey instead of people that are light years ahead that are unrelatable to others, wouldn't that be quite powerful to, like, you know, have people that can see the next few steps in their journey instead of like the light years ahead steps, right? And he was like, yeah, that's actually a really good point. All right, I think we could probably sort something out. We'll see if we can get you 30 minutes. I was like, awesome. soon as I said it, I was like, oh shit, I now have to speak on stage in London. But like, you don't, you know, in the moment, every decision I make is like that. It's literally just like solution oriented. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to worry about the fears and the bullshit and the excuses and stuff. I'm literally just going to go, oh, this thing could help me move forwards in my business. I kind of take myself out of the equation. I don't think, what does Dan Holloway fear in this moment? I just go, well, from a logical point of view, that's going to move me forward, so I'm going to do it. I'll figure out how to do it later. I'll figure out how to overcome it later. First, I'm just going to commit to doing it and take action. So yeah, that's probably one of my biggest defining things. So the other perspective that I want to give, other than what would I do if I was 10 times bolder, that's just come into my head right now, is think of someone in your life who is someone you really look up to. Might be someone like Tony Robbins, might be someone like Abraham Hicks, might be, don't point at me, Roxana. Thank you, I appreciate that. Think of someone who, like, you know, you really look up to, who's whatever, you know, in the league of the person who you want to become or something. And then just ask yourself, in this situation that you're in right now, with this decision that you're looking to make right now, what would that person do? And then whatever that is, just go bloody do it, right? Tony Robbins, you know, what would Tony Robbins do in a particular situation? Well, we know that Tony Robbins is going to stop at nothing on the face of the earth if he has a goal that he wants to achieve. He's proven that time and time again in all of his businesses and everything that he does. Like, his mission and his purpose is bigger than any physical thing or mental thing that could possibly stop him on this earth. What would Tony Robbins do? And if you start becoming that type of person who will get those kind of results, you will start getting those kind of results. And I think a lot of the time, just my final point on this, when I look back over my journey, especially in the early stages, and I'd be telling myself, but I don't get it. I'm doing what the other people are doing, but I'm not getting the result that other people are getting. So I genuinely believed, I thought that I was playing it big. And I thought that I was, like, you know, taking all these steps that other people were taking. But it's only once I actually started taking those steps to that level that I realized that I wasn't playing it big at all. And I'm probably going through the same thing now. I think that I'm playing a bigger game because this is my perspective. But in 12 months' time, I'm going to be looking back and be like, bless you, Dan. Bless you, thinking that back then you were playing it big. You were like nothing compared to, you know, whatever might happen in the future. I don't know. So always challenge your belief as well. I think that I'm playing a bigger game, but how could I play it bigger? Like, how can I push myself to the next level? And if I say, oh God, yeah, but I've really, you know, I've done this, that's really far out. That's doing the same as someone else. Okay, great. But how can I go even further? How can I get that to the next level? So yeah, Roxana, that's my, I think, perspective on this at the moment. As I say, that'll probably change in 6 to 12 months, but hopefully that helps answer your question right now.